They say you gotta hook your audience in the first 15 seconds, so I'd like to open this video by saying, ChaosChild is the Steins Gate of murder mysteries. Alright, cool, caught the attention of the casual fans. So if you've gone online in the last few years, the naming convention of word, semicolon, word is probably familiar to you. This designates that the piece of media is part of the Science Adventure series. In super simple layman's terms, it means it's in the same series as the insanely popular Steins Gate. The mainline games that make up this series are Chaos Head, Steins Gate, Robotics Notes, and ChaosChild. While the West has received all the anime adaptations for these games, the only games we've gotten are Steins Gate, Steins Gate Zero, and the upcoming ChaosChild. Oh hey, that's the topic of this video. ChaosChild is a psychological horror, thriller, and murder mystery visual novel, and has probably been my biggest hyperfixation during the past year. But the biggest question still remains. What is ChaosChild, and why should you care? I've used my connections with Japanese-speaking fans and my experience with an imported copy to gather enough information to answer that question and any more that you may have. My name is Cullen, and I am a gigantic fan of the Science Adventure series, and with that out of the way, let's... Oh, hey, I'm gonna have you, stop that Googlage. For your own sake, let me just, close that out for you. This might be one of the most important parts of this entire video, so listen up. Whatever you do, do not watch the anime adaptation of ChaosChild. It is an abysmal adaptation that takes a 50+ hour visual novel and tries to condense that into a measly 12 episodes, and fails to do so. If you watch this anime, you will ruin the story of one of the best VNs ever made. If any of this looks even remotely interesting to you, stay off the wiki and stay the hell away from that anime. Anyway, let's get back on topic. What is ChaosChild about? ChaosChild is a thematic sequel to the first game in the series, Chaos Head, specifically the expanded and canon version, Chaos Head Noah. The game takes place 6 years after the events of Chaos Head Noah, where a terrifying and supernatural set of murders and an earthquake destroyed Shibuya. The event was known as New Generation Madness and connects the two Chaos games, but fear not, because ChaosChild is still standalone. Shibuya was rebuilt after the disaster and is the home of our arrogant but lovable wannabe normie main character named Takaru Miyashiro. Takaru is the president of a school's newspaper club and lives in a camper under a bridge after the earthquake left him an orphan. He begins to notice a pattern in a series of murders that relates to the original New Generation murders. With this knowledge, he tries to get to the crime scenes before the police does, and solve the mystery with his club members. Now, when I say ChaosChild is a murder mystery, I do not use the term lightly. This game has some of the most gruesome and twisted depictions of violence I've ever seen. For example, the bizarre opening section involves a man live streaming himself eating his own arm without realizing it, and then bleeding out on camera. Whatever gets you those donations, dude, you do you. ChaosChild is full of many similar, equally horrifying scenes, and really earns that 0Z it got in Japan, so don't take the M rating it received in the West lightly. But don't worry, ChaosChild doesn't just rely on fantastic and detailed writing to convey a sense of horror and dread, but uses every single advantage of the genre to really make its players feel immersed. Like its predecessor, it carries over its great sound design, but turns that shit up to 11. The sound effects are crisp, detailed, and will perfectly suck you into any of the creepy scenarios the game decides to throw at you. ChaosChild also benefits from having a considerably larger budget than Chaos Head, and has a gorgeous soundtrack to boot. I've been using it throughout this video, and this might just be one of the most chilling and emotional soundtracks I've ever heard. Look what hits you the second you get to the title screen! Oh! Perfect segue to visual presentation. Hey! Everything from gorgeous backgrounds to the highly detailed drawings of items to the well-drawn character portraits by Mutsumi Sasaki brings the world of ChaosChild to life. The art style might look a little too anime for some people's taste, but it shows a good evolution from Sasaki's Chaos Head art and is infinitely more consistent than Hukei's art in Steins Gate. Just what are men? I love Hukei, and they are fantastic at drawing really amazing and unique female characters, but what the fuck are men? Oh wait, this one I like. But anyway, not to forget, the context and environment appropriate shaders on character portraits are just The attention to detail put into every single frame really immerses players into the game's atmosphere and is probably my favorite aspect of ChaosChild. Alright, so it's got a cool premise, but it's still just a boring visual novel, right? Very, very, very wrong. Every science adventure game features a unique take on decision making, and in the Chaos games, this is done with the delusion trigger system. Frequently throughout the story, Takaru will be able to make a choice to witness a positive or negative delusion, or to stay in reality. Positive delusions are often pleasant dreamlike sequences, whereas negative delusions are horror-filled, nightmarish sequences. Seriously, people get fucked up in the negative ones, like, oh boy. These delusions shape how Takaru sees the world around him and can affect his mental state as the narrative continues. But be careful, because the delusions might have bigger consequences than they seem to have at face value. While the first playthrough will always have you locked into the common route, on repeat playthroughs the delusions you choose or do not choose will branch Takaru's path to the truth in a total of 5 other unique routes. In addition to that, the game also features a true ending that will unlock after all 6 main routes have been completed. That makes a total of 7 endings to the game, with each being extremely important to the story and not just filler. I love you anyway though. ChaosChild will not hand you the truth on a silver platter, you have to uncover it yourself. And one of the ways you do this is with the new mapping trigger function. Takaru and friends piece together information and photos taken from the crime scenes on a giant map of Shibuya to solve the mystery. These will require you to really think about the details of the murders to solve them, and can also branch the story out after the common route is cleared. And finally, what, you may ask, is the biggest reason you should care about ChaosChild? The answer to that is simple: to support this fantastic series in the West. The Steins Gate games made it over thanks to the success of the incredibly popular anime, but P-Cube and 5PB/Mages are taking a big risk bringing this to the West. As said before, the garbage anime adaptation already left a really bad taste in people's mouth, and if this game bombs, then there might not be any more science adventure games getting official Western releases. Maybe I'm just being paranoid, but I really don't want to see one of my favorite series stay unknown to Western audiences. So please, if any of my explanations sounded interesting, I implore you to check the game out when it releases in September for PS4 and Vita. First of all, I gotta say some thanks. Thank you so much to my wonderful girlfriend who did this amazing background art you see right now as a recreation of ChaosChild art. It's incredible. She did insane work, and she did in like 30 minutes. It's great. Another big thanks to my fact checker, someone who's actually played the entire game in Japanese, Riggs. Thanks, buddy. This wouldn't have been possible without you, kind of keeping me from saying stupid shit. Thank you to my friends Pixie Valkyrie, Shib, Poob, and Super Butterbuns for really helping me fine-tune the script and making sure it was as concise and understandable for people who weren't really knowledgeable about the Science Adventure series. And lastly, I'd like to thank all of you guys for actually sticking with this video to the end. This is my first piece of actual edited content, so I'm kind of nervous on how it'll be received, but I'm really hoping my passion about this fantastic game came to light, and it could have interested you guys in actually going out and buying this. This isn't a paid advertisement or anything, this is just one guy who loves something a whole bunch, wanting to share it with a ton of people who might not have known about it. So hopefully I can make more videos like this in the future, because there's so much stuff I'm usually hyped about. And if you liked this video and want to see more of my crazy delusions, you can follow me on Twitter and Twitch at Dr. Cullen PhD. More information will be in the description. Thank you all for watching, have a good one.